Thank you so much for joining in once again. I'm so glad that you can make it to this episode. I just want to tell you guys, I want you to have a dream. Once you get that dream, I want you to have drive to do that dream. And once you have the drive, be persistent. Be persistent in fulfilling that dream until you reach perfection. That's our motto. Dream, drive, persistent, perfection. Have that, achieve it, go for it, because God has something special just for you. The point of Conversations with Kim is to enlighten you on the many ways that God can speak to you. He has many different things that He can use. He has many different ways that He can tell you about yourself. And so that's my job, and how God shows me is to show you through different objects and inanimate things just how God can make your life different, how you can apply these things to your life and be successful and be great and fulfill the call that God has on your life. The Bible tells us, to confirm my words, the Bible tells us that He takes the foolish things to confound the wise, to confuse the wise, to put them in a place of shock. So it's an intriguing thing. It's something that you might not think of. However, it's God's special way of showing you that He can use anything and anybody. So this week's episode is going to be on Today we are talking about taking flights. Anybody ever taken a flight before? Well, let's watch a video on flights right here in this moment.
How do massive airplanes fly? Some of the largest commercial airliners can weigh over 1 million pounds. Compare that to today's heaviest flying bird, the great bustard, which weighs just around 35 pounds. Despite their differences, these two behemoths rely on the same principles of flight. Flight is basically a battle against Earth's gravity, and your greatest ally is the air. Birds and planes alike fight gravity by manipulating the air molecules around them. When birds flap their wings, they're generating an area of high air pressure under the wing and low air pressure above it. The same happens when planes race down the runway. The pressure difference above and below the wing creates a net upward force, giving the aircraft lift. Once this upward force exceeds gravity's downward pull, you have liftoff. Of course, a 1 million pound plane needs greater lift to get off the ground than a great bustard. Planes achieve this with a combination of two things. One, airplanes race down the runway at 150 to 180 miles per hour, creating fast-moving air across the wings. And two, something called the angle of attack. You probably noticed that planes tilt up at liftoff instead of rising parallel to the ground. The reason is that the tilt, also known as the angle of attack, directs more air below the wing. This increases the pressure and gives the plane an extra boost. Once aloft, the main thing keeping the plane in midair isn't magic, it's the engines. Engines propel the plane forward, keeping a steady flow of fast-moving air across the wings. This creates that key difference in air pressure that supports the plane's weight against gravity. But as you fly higher, the air becomes thinner, so the plane must travel faster to maintain that lift. While liftoff speed is around 170 miles per hour at sea level, a commercial airliner's cruising speed is around 550 miles per hour at 40,000 feet, where the air density is 10 times thinner. But a thinner atmosphere means less drag on the aircraft, so the engines can hit high speeds with less fuel. Cruising altitudes between 35 to 40,000 feet are the sweet spot, where pilots can fly as fast as possible while burning the least amount of fuel. Each day, more than 2.5 million people in the US hop on a plane, taking to the sky the same way birds have been doing for millennia. Consider that the next time you're given a safety lesson on how to fasten your seatbelt.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Basically, that was to just show you and help you to understand, what it's like on a flight, what it's like to take flight. If you've been on one, what is it like for you? Were you afraid to take flight? Were you scared when the plane started speeding up? Were you afraid when you reached those higher heights? What was your experience like? And would you go on another flight again soon? Where did you go? Put it in the comment section below. So today, I want to explain to you how flights apply to our life. Let's look at the scripture for today. We're coming from the 23rd Psalms. We know it all too well. Most of us had to memorize this as a child. So it says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." God has a special plan for your life, but you have to be ready to take flight. During a flight, most of the time, the first thing you're going to experience is the takeoff. When you're taking off, most of the time when I take flights, we drive around these different curves, and there's a guide that is in front of the plane with these like kind of glow in the dark lights. And so he's waving them in the air and directing that plane on which way to go. And this big plane, has to go through these small little avenues before it gets to this big spacious cloud. This big spacious sky. And that's kind of how God does us. Sometimes we go through life and we've got this big dream and we're around small things and small-minded people. We may be in a small town or living in a small environment where it's hard for us to navigate. But God is that guide that guides the plane and is waving those little markers in the air so that you can see which way to go. And it's really hard because sometimes that person is so small that you have to have your eyes focused on that guide if you are the pilot of that plane. So you are the pilot of your vision. You're the pilot of your future. So if you want to navigate through your life, you have to focus and pay special attention to God's voice. Hearken to his voice and hear him as he leads you. He says he leads us in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. So let him lead you down that path and see, won't he allow you to go through those crooks and crannies and nooks and crannies, and those small narrow pathways to get to your season of taking flight. If you haven't even soared yet, this is just your preparation phase before you take flight. You've got to navigate your way through your preparation season. That means that as he's guiding you through those pathways, you're letting old habits go. You're letting old things go and putting them behind you. You're writing your business plans. You're writing your visions out. You're maybe creating your vision board at this point in your life. So this is your beginning phase. getting the vision in mind, putting things to work, putting your plans in motion so that you can see which way you're supposed to go. Then the next thing that happens once you navigate your way to the area where you're getting ready to take flight, you position yourself accordingly. Meaning you've got everything in place now, and you're getting ready to talk to the people that you need to talk to prepare yourself for the next phase of your life. So the next thing you should do is get that confidence, rev yourself up, motivate yourself so that you can get through this situation with boldness and with confidence. That means that you need to be speaking affirmations to yourself as you're pushing yourself, as you're driving yourself. Listen to motivational things. Surround yourself around motivational people. Maybe connect with people that know where you're going, that have been where you're trying to go, that can speak over your life and speak into your situation. Speak to your elders. Speak to people that have gone through the process of what you're getting ready to go through. And watch and see how easy it is for you to take off. So at this point, you're speeding up, and you're getting ready to soar. But sometimes, as you're soaring up above the ground, you could have everything in motion, and then turbulence hits. Now the rain is falling. So you see there's a obstacle in front of you that is getting in the way of your plans. You wrote the business plans out and you sent them in to the banker. Now they have denied you or said that you've got to fix some things on your credit before you can see the approval that you want to see. Now you got to get your credit right before you can get access to those loans. What are you going to do? Are you going to try to land the plane early? Are you going to try to aim higher? Or are you going to stay complacent? What do you do when it rains? Because if you stay in the same area, you run the risk of wrecking your plane. If you land earlier, you never get the opportunity to see that vision fulfilled. So should you give up? No, you can't. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep trying. So the best thing for you to do is aim higher. That's what I'm challenging you all to do today. Aim higher. If you know that you have some things to prepare for and that turbulence is hit, the rain is falling, find another way. Ask God to show you what to do to get to where you're trying to go. When you see that rain pouring down, reroute yourself. If your banker is telling you to go and fix your credit, start working on your credit. If it's your marriage that you need to work on, go ahead and go speak to a counselor. If your family is going through a struggle or a situation, go to church together. Build a relationship with the Lord. If you're dealing with a problem with your health, go to the doctor and see what kind of plans that he has for you and your health. See how he can help you to get on the right foot. If you're on the brink of losing some major health benefits, if you're on the brink of losing your ability to walk or your ability to live without insulin, without having to take insulin every day, if you're running the risk of these things, if you're dealing with things where you may already face diabetes or high blood pressure or another illness, search out another way to get your breakthrough, to get your healing, so that you can continue to live your life to the fullest. But if you stop there, and if you accept the diagnoses, if you accept the situation for what it is, you're not going to be able to survive in happiness or in or fulfillment. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be down. You're going to be out. You're going to be discouraged constantly. You're going to live a life of hopelessness. You've got to aim above the clouds. One thing I love about flying is the fact that the pilot is not afraid to rise above the clouds. Though the altitude gets higher and your ears pop, it's irritating to have to go through something and to have to find another solution for your situation when you hear bad news after you've tried and you pursued something, and then something happens to knock you back. That is frustrating when you have to go back and forth and see and try to find another way and another solution to your situation when you've already navigated your plane. You've already tried to direct yourself and prepare for the next phase of your life. Now you got to aim above the clouds. So shoot higher, aim higher. When the enemy comes against you, aim higher. And I love that about planes, how you can go above the clouds and then you see the sun come out again. Sometimes it just takes you taking that extra step to go a little bit higher. Take yourself a little bit higher. Push yourself a little bit farther. Drive yourself a little bit more to get to where you're trying to go. If you just push a little bit more and you burst through those clouds, you're going to see the rain stop and you're going to see the sun come out. But you've got to keep trying. Don't give up here. Your destiny is on the way. Your future is near. Your future is now. I want to thank you for taking out the time to listen to me and to hear me out on this episode of Conversations with Kim. Understand it's time to take flight. And when you take flight and you go through your situations, I want you to aim higher. When you aim higher, you have a smooth flight. And you're going to see yourself get to your destination. And you're going to have a flawless victory. You're going to have everything that God has for you. Keep pushing. Don't give up here. Keep your dream in mind. Have the drive to pursue it. Be persistent in fulfilling your dream until you reach perfection. This is Kim Mendoza with Conversations with Kim. Thank you, and I hope you have a good night.